Hi, my name is Dr. Katherine Adams, and I will be your instructor for Introductory Psychology. I'm excited to get to know all of you this semester. I wanted to take a moment and first introduce a little bit about myself, and then I'll briefly walk through some key information about the course. First, a little about me. I'm originally from Indianapolis, Indiana. For my undergraduate degree, I went to a small college called Butler University. If you're into NCAA men's basketball at all, you might have heard of them. Butler went back-to-back in the NCAA men's championship games in 2010 and 2011, which also just so happened to be during my freshman and sophomore years there. So I definitely got into watching college basketball during that time. And even though my Bulldogs haven't made it back to the NCAA tournament in a few years, I still really enjoy watching and cheering them on. After Butler, I went to Purdue University, where I earned my PhD in social psychology, which I completed in 2019. I then had my first teaching job for 1 year at a place called Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, quite a mouthful, before I moved out to Virginia in June 2020. And I've been teaching psychology here at Virginia Tech ever since. When I'm not teaching, I enjoy checking out the Blacksburg Farmers Market, going for walks on the Huckleberry Trail, and of course, cheering on all of my now Butler, Purdue, and VT sports teams. On the right, you can see a picture of me, my housemate Tulu Otomayomi, and our friend Karen at my first ever VT football game. Now a little about the course. Firstly, this is an online asynchronous course, and while that does afford you some additional flexibility, it can also come with some added challenges as well. In particular, you will need to be responsible for keeping up with the required lecture videos and readings for each week. Psychology is certainly a fascinating topic, and I hope that you find the material in this course to be interesting and useful. But in the end, you will ultimately get out of this course what you put into it. Even though the course is online, I do ask that you take it seriously and commit to completing the necessary work each week, just as you would in a regular in-person course. If you do not regularly watch the lecture videos or only lightly skim the readings, then you probably won't walk away with a very firm understanding of our course material. And while that might not sound like a big deal to you now, it could hurt you down the line if you plan on taking additional psychology classes, as they will all build on the foundation that we lay now in this introductory course. The course itself is divided into 14 modules or topics, and we will be covering one module per each week of the course. Here, you can see a screenshot of our first 3 modules, and you'll find the full course schedule listed at the bottom of our syllabus. There is no textbook for this course. Instead, your readings for each module will come from a free resource called the NOBA Project. Each week, you'll need to complete 1 to 2 of these required readings and watch about 2 to 5 required lecture videos, which are each going to be about 10 minutes or so in length, as well as completing a required quiz. In addition to the modules, there will also be 3 exams in this course, as well as a cumulative final. Each exam will consist of 50 multiple choice questions and will be online using Lockdown Browser. Since the exams are online, I am making them open note and open book. However, because they will be on Lockdown Browser, you will not be able to actively pull up any web pages or videos on your computer while taking the exam. That means that if you want to reference any notes during the exam, you'll need to have hard copies available. I would encourage you to actually sit down and take notes while completing the readings and watching the lecture videos, just like you would in a normal in-person class. This will hopefully help you to pay attention to the material while you are reading or watching it for the first time, and then it can also be a resource that you use when taking the exams as well. One other note about the exams, almost all of the questions on the exams are going to be very application focused, so you might be given an example and then you're going to be asked to apply a particular concept that we talked about. So there won't be very many questions that you can just, go look in your notes for the definition. You'll really need to make sure that you understand the material at a conceptual level in order to be able to do well on the exams. Additionally, even though the quizzes and exams are open note and open book, you are still responsible for doing your own work. And that also means that you shouldn't be using any AI resources such as ChatGPT while taking exams. If I discover an instance of cheating on a quiz or exam, it will be taken very seriously and could result in failing the course or further disciplinary action from the university if necessary. Let's check out our Canvas homepage now together. So over on the left-hand navigation menu, you can find links to our course syllabus, quizzes, files where you can find PowerPoint slides, as well as our modules. And you can find links to pretty much all of those on the Canvas homepage itself as well. So if you scroll down here in this first section, I'll have an overview of what we'll be doing each week. You can find links to the module page where you can watch the lecture videos, our readings. Again, our readings are going to come from a resource called the NOBA Project. So the way this works is that experts in different topic areas have contributed to writing up these web pages. So very much feels like a kind of a regular textbook chapter, although maybe a little bit more condensed than what you might find in a regular textbook. But really great resource for you, provide additional information other than what I might be able to cover in just the lecture videos. So please do also be keeping up with the readings as well. They'll be helpful for you in kind of rounding out and giving you some additional information on some of the topics that we'll be covering. And then our quizzes or anything else that you need to complete. So this week we'll have our syllabus quiz as well as the quiz over the Module 1 material. Here are our course objectives. So this is what I hope by the end of the semester you'll be able to do all of these things. Quick links to helpful resources. So we have our course syllabus. For help, if you need to start a for help ticket, that would be like if you have a technology issue like your computer or your internet isn't working. The VT Academic Success Center, so that's a center here on campus. They provide free resources to students such as tutoring or study tips or tips on time management. So that could definitely be something that you may want to think about checking out at some point. Just to kind of help you, again, to kind of just help you be successful in your academic journey. The Learning Scientist, this is a web page with science-backed tips for how to study smarter, not just harder. And here is a PDF handout I've created on how to join a research lab in psychology. So if that's something you're interested in doing, you can check this out. I will say if you are interested in going to grad school at some point, they will be looking to see that you have some research experience. So if going to grad school is something that you are kind of hoping to do at some point after undergrad, I'd really encourage you to think about getting involved somewhere in a research lab. And then lastly, I skipped over this, but I'll come back now to this SONA fact sheet. So if you haven't looked at the syllabus yet, you might be wondering, what is SONA? So SONA is a way for researchers to post studies that they are currently doing, and then you can create a SONA account yourself. And when you log in, you can see different studies that are available for you to sign up for. These are all going to be studies that are conducted here by the psychology faculty at Virginia Tech. So the studies that they are running to collect data for their research labs, you can actually sign up to participate in those studies. And by doing so, you can earn 1 bonus point for every half hour of participation. So, if you participate in 1 hour of research studies, you can get 2 bonus points for that. And you can get up to 10. So you can get any amount up to 10 bonus points, but you'll be capped at 10. That will be raw bonus points that will contribute to your overall grade. If you want to get those bonus points, but you don't want to do research studies, there is an alternative assignment that is available to you. I think more information is in there in the fact sheet or in the syllabus. But if you can't find it in one of those places, reach out to me and let me know, and I can give you more details on what the alternative assignment involves. One quick note, if you do want to do some of the research studies, they will kind of change in availability throughout the semester, kind of what studies are up or, what time slots are available for you to sign up for. So if you wait until the very end, you might not find enough studies that you would like to do that kind of match with your own availability or that you're eligible to participate in. So if you want to take advantage of this, I'd recommend you go ahead and get your SONA account set up now, and then at various kind of points throughout the semester, keep checking back in and see what studies are available that will kind of help you to maximize being able to get the full 10 bonus points if that's something that you want to do. Again, you don't have to do this, but if you want to do this for extra credit, you can. And again, if you want to get that extra credit, but you don't want to do research studies or you're not eligible to participate in research studies, there's alternative assignments that are available to you as well. You can reach out to me or the TAs for more information on that. And then down here is our course modules. So let's go ahead and check out Module 1. So in this first module that we'll be doing this week, we're going to be talking about the history and philosophy of psychology. And all of the module pages will be laid out in kind of the same way. So we'll have objectives here at the top. Again, another link duplicate here to the reading so you can get to it lots of different ways. The lecture videos, these are required, so this is a lot of what you'll be tested over in the exams will come from these lecture videos. You can also get the PowerPoint slides if you want that. Again, you can go to the Files tab, or you can just click on this link to download them. And then down here, I have just kind of some extra things if you want to, so none of this is required. This is just kind of additional. If you're really interested and you want some more information or you want some more study practice, I'll have some additional kind of supplemental videos. Again, if maybe you found one of the topics really interesting and you just want to learn some more, or maybe you're a little bit confused about one of the topics that I covered and you want to watch a video that explains that a little bit more. And again, you can always feel free to reach out to me or the TAs too if you want some more information on, if you're not understanding something. This test yourself section, this can be helpful as you're getting ready for exams. So, you can actually see without looking at any notes that you took or without looking, rewatching the videos or looking at the NOBA readings, can you do these things? And if you can, that's a good indicator that, you kind of understood the key points that I want you to take away from that particular topic. If not, maybe that's a cue that you need to go back and you need to go look at your notes or watch the videos again or go back and reread the readings or reach out to myself or the TAs for some additional kind of information and explanation. Down here, this apply it section, this will usually be just kind of an activity or thought experiment. Again, just something you can do on your own if that's something that you're interested in exploring further. And then here we've got faculty videos. So again, we have some really wonderful faculty here in the psychology department at Virginia Tech, and some of them have actually made little videos explaining a little bit more about who they are and what they do and how they sort of got to where they are today and what kind of topics they research in their labs. So if you're interested in watching these, they can be great. Again, kind of just additional information. In particular, if you're interested in joining a research lab, this can be a good way to find, a lab that kind of matches with your interests. And again, I'll be kind of bringing these back throughout the different modules. So when we cover, at the very end, when we cover clinical psychology, you'll see Dr. Rosanna Bro's video again. When we cover IO psychology, you'll see Dr. Charles Calderwood's video again. But they're all listed here on this first module for your convenience if you want to check any of those out. And then down at the very bottom, we have the link to our module quiz. So if we pull up the module 1 quiz, each quiz is going to consist of 8 questions worth half a point each, so 4 points total. There is a 30-minute time limit, which I think should be plenty of time to do 8 questions, but I do want you to kind of use this as a first pass at, do I understand the material? So I'd even encourage you, maybe on the first attempt, you do get 2 attempts with your highest being recorded. Maybe on your first attempt, just try and see how much you can do just from memory without looking at your notes or the textbook or anything. And again, if you get something wrong, that's a good cue that, I need to go back and re-review that. And you can, take the quiz again once you feel like you've gone back and kind of understood that particular topic. One note about the module quizzes is that they are required, so you do have to complete them before you can move on. So if you go over here to the modules tab, actually you can see all of the modules laid out and everything that you need to complete. So I have a little fake student version here so that you can kind of see what it looks like on your end of things. And so in my little fake student account, I've watched the welcome video and I've taken the syllabus quiz and I've looked at the module 1 page, which we just did, but I haven't taken the module 1 quiz yet. And so you'll notice all of the subsequent modules are locked at this point. So if you find that you can't move on, like if you want to take the module 2 quiz and it's locked, there are 2 main reasons why that could be. The first is that you haven't completed all the prerequisites yet. So again, if you just go to the modules tab, you can kind of quickly see an overview. And here I can see, okay, I've completed all the items for this getting started module, but for module 1, I haven't done everything yet, right? I've got this check marked, but this is not. And so it's showing me that this is not complete. And so I just know, I just need to go complete that prerequisite. The other reason why you might find something to be locked is that it just hasn't opened yet. So each module will unlock the week that we are going to cover it. So what that means is you can only complete module 1 this week. You can't move any further ahead in the course. And I know, Sometimes that can be a little frustrating. I know the temptation is always just, you want to just get everything done. But I have a couple reasons why I don't want us to do that. The first is just purely, I think it's nice when, even though we're asynchronous online, if we can all just kind of do this as a class together and all be in the same place in the course together, I think that's helpful for you. And I think it's also helpful for me and the TAs just to kind of know where everybody is. But the other reason, really is, I think, beneficial for you, which is I really want you to take your time with the material so that you can learn it well. If you rush through and do everything at once, you probably won't understand it as well. And then, 4 weeks later, when you go to take the exam, you're going to have to redo everything again when you're studying for it. So I think it's beneficial if we just kind of go at this pace together of one module per week. So just know if a module quiz or something is locked for you, either you haven't completed all the prerequisites or maybe we just haven't gotten to that point in the course yet. Now, there could be another reason why it might be locked, and perhaps that's because there's an issue on our end of things or a problem with Canvas, which can happen. So if you think something should be unlocked for you and it's not, please feel free to reach out. Here is my contact information. We also have two wonderful graduate TAs, Sahar and Michelle. They're both great and can be really great resources for you to reach out to. So you can let us know if there is an issue. I will say down here, again, being online, you might not be aware of how many other students are in the class. I do want to let you know there are 500 of you who are enrolled this semester in this particular section for this online course. And so for you to get a quick response to a question that you might have, I do ask that you kind of use this email guide. So if you have a question about assignment requirements or course policies, definitely check out the syllabus first. That might answer your question right there. If not, you can follow up with one of the GTAs. If you have a technical problem, again, you can start a for help ticket with TLOS. If you have a question related to SONA, really look at the SONA fact sheet or coordinate Sammy Hong, who is the SONA coordinator. Sammy's going to be able to help you much faster. If you email me, I'm just going to forward your email to Sammy. If you have a question about, like I said earlier, if an assignment's locked, I do ask that you reach out to one of the TAs first. Again, they're very well qualified. They know how to navigate the Canvas site. They know about the material, and so they'll be perfectly happy to help you out with that. If you have an urgent issue, definitely email me or loop me in. If you're not sure who to reach out to and you just have a question, of course, always feel free to reach out to me. And then I also do want to say I have regular office hours on Mondays and Tuesdays. My office is over in Williams Hall on the 3rd floor. Office hours are a time when I'm available for you. If you have questions about the material, maybe you want to go over an exam, or maybe you want to join a psychology lab and you looked at the handout and you have some follow-up questions. All of those could be great things that you might want to come stop by my office hours for. You can come to my office hours either in person or over Zoom. I will note sometimes I forget to turn on my Zoom room, like if it's Monday afternoon and I'm in my work groove, sometimes I just forget to turn that Zoom room on. So if that's the case, just shoot me an email real quick and I'll just pop my Zoom on real quick and be happy to meet with you. But especially, again, with this being an online course, I would really love the chance to meet some of you and actually put a face to some of your names. So definitely always feel free to come by my office hours or reach out to me, Sahar, or Michelle if you have any questions. And again, though, I do ask that you, again, just to kind of make everything be manageable, that you try to use this email question guide as much as possible when you're doing that. So I think that's all the information here that I wanted to cover. I do really hope that you all enjoy the course. I'm looking forward to working with you all, and again, hopefully getting to know some of you and maybe even meet some of you over the course of the semester. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you enjoy the course.